Okay, welcome back. This is, of course, Corporate Radar. We have advisory firm InGovern, which has raised red flags over Religare AGM delay. They've called for essentially the chairperson, Dr. Rashmi Saluja, to step down from their roles, which they think will signal a commitment to accountability and a fresh start with a fresh board and leadership for Religare Enterprises. Remember, the battle at Religare, of course, has turned fierce and maybe murky as well. On one side is Dr. Rashmi Saluja and the board so far. And on the other side, of course, is the Burman family, which of Dabur, but the Burman family, which is trying to buy Religare. They already own about 25% in Religare. There is an open offer which is out there at about 235 rupees per share, but that offer has not gone ahead so far. I think pending, one last approval. There is, of course, also the bit about the AGM delay, where no explanation really has been given why the AGM has been postponed, where perhaps people are keenly waiting for a vote on an extension for Dr. Rashmi Saluja, the chairperson at Religare. We have Sriram Subramanian, founder and managing director at InGovern Research, now joining in. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Subramanian. Prashant here. You put out very clearly, you say time to move on. And this is what you write. Amidst a power struggle and regulatory scrutiny, Dr. Rashmi Saluja and the named KMP's key management personnel stepping down from their roles in the company would signal a commitment to accountability and a fresh start with fresh board and leadership for Religare. Of course, Religare itself has issued their own statement. They're saying, well, I'm sure you've seen it. They're calling it unnecessary. They're saying, well, it's a process which is going on, and this is aimed at influencing the securities market, etc., etc. So just explain this for us, because there are lots of interested investors as well, who are waiting keenly for a resolution to this thing. So what are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, so Religare has taken the ROC's approval, which is a logical process to get the AGM extended by 3 months. So this AGM has to be held before end of December now. But there is no logical reason. They have put out a reason which is not logical, because they have said that it is due to the this one in the open offer, the issues with the open offer, etc., which has no relevance to why the AGM has been postponed. Because at the end of the day, this is being contested in the Delhi High Court now. It's gone to a division bench. Okay, that is fine. That is understandable. But beyond that, is the company also assuring then that the AGM will be held before December if the AGM, if the open offer process doesn't get resolved by then? So that's an impasse. So there is no logical reason why they have pushed out the AGM. The only reason why they could have done it is Rashmi Saluja, being the only non-independent director on the board of Religare, has to come up for reappointment. And there is a fear that she will likely get voted out, because already, as you rightly said, the Burmans own 25%. They are they're already fighting her. Two is the other shareholders are also very keenly watching. They've had this mess of the last year and a half. So they are, our interactions with institutional investors tell us that they want a change there. So the board has been siding with her. The independent directors have not done their duty. They have just not acted in the interest of the company. They have issued ESOPs for which we had put out a note, where IRDA has come out with an order. Of course, that has gone to the SAT and is now being fought at the SAT. But yet, IRDA has given out a detailed order. SEBI has come out with a detailed order on the matter of, and issued a show cause notice to the independent directors on why they tried to stop the open offer. In India, the takeover or an open offer is a natural trigger, actually. There is the moment 25% is crossed, there's a natural trigger. And SEBI itself doesn't have any powers to stop the open offer. But at the end of the day, the company has cited some RBI permissions, etc., and that's the reason they've stopped the open offer.
So the AGM has to be held before December, as you said. Do you think it is inevitable that her reappointment has to come up, right?
Yeah.
Has to be an agenda item, or is it possible that it is not an agenda item?
No, I mean, for an external person and logically everybody on the street expects that to be coming up. The company may cite some other logic or some other reasoning, like they have done with the postponement of the AGM itself, but everybody is expecting that she will come up for reappointment.
And then you say that there are enough votes, Burman plus institutional shareholders. And have you had a conversation with some of these institutional shareholders?
Yeah,
there's
a sense of I think there's a sense of angst amongst them, and that's where they are saying that the board and Dr. Rashmi Saluja have not done their this one properly diligence. Initially, in fact, they supported the open offer initially, and then subsequently last year, they went against the open offer. So it's not clear as to why the board is not supporting the open offer at the first place. And secondly, it's not clear as to why they pushed out this AGM.
Okay, so before December now, AGM and the vote both should happen. So it looks like increasingly likely that Ms. Saluja perhaps will be voted out, right?
Yeah, we obviously have to see whether the notice comes up, the proposal comes up, as it is not yet announced. Okay. Once it's announced, we'll have to see. But the investors are definitely, there's a sense of angst around her leadership, right?
Okay. Now this open offer itself, which is at 235 rupees, will that have to be, I mean, whenever that starts to come to, when it is launched, I mean, will the price have to be revised, or will there be interest at 235? Price is at about 280 today.
Yeah, I don't think the public shareholders will tender at that price. Of course, it's up to the Burmans to decide whether they want to increase the price. That's the minimum floor price. So if the Burmans want to buy out more public shareholders, so they will have to increase the price, because as you rightly said, it's 280 or thereof today. And so that's up to the Burmans. But at the end of the day, the process has to be completed, right? I mean, they already want 25%. The process has to go through and be completed. And that's a logical end to the Burmans coming on acquiring the shares.
Right. I mean, from an investor perspective, when we speak, what is given out as a reason for re-rating is that this becomes a Burman-owned company, right? I mean, in terms of valuation, valuation multiples, etc. I'm sure you also hear that. How far is that process, do you think? I mean, is there an end in sight to when you actually see some?
We don't know. See, these regulatory processes could take time. Each regulator has their own, this one. The company board is against this entire process. So to that extent, they are putting spokes in the wheel of this entire process, right? At various forums, be it RBI, be it SEBI, be it IRDA, they have always put spokes. So from that perspective, we don't know how long the regulators also take to give these approvals and the like.
Okay, all right. But I think you made it clear that, in your opinion, a lot of the institutional shareholders are also watching this closely for a speedy resolution. If it happens or not, we don't know as of now. Mr. Subramanian, thank you very much for joining us with that opinion. And I think it's a story which we will watch very, very closely.